Hello and welcome to today's episode of Breakfast with Cody Gall. And yes, sir. So, sad day in Christendom. I'm actually not Catholic, but my mother is. She gave me Palm. It was Palm Sunday because it's Holy Week. So, I'll put this right here. Do the episode with that there. Man, it's a real historical loss with Notre Dame. They're not going to rebuild it the same. They can't. It's not possible. I went to Notre Dame when I was like, I guess I was like 12. I saw it. It was beautiful. And so, just kind of at a loss for words. When the spire came down, that was really something, wasn't it? So, now, how do we react to things like this in 2019? It seems like the cat is out of the bag, isn't it? That many of the governments of the world have been infiltrated by very high level corruption. And that they do things like this. And moving forward, we can try to gauge what's going on based on the reactions of everybody. Is it scripted? Is it benefiting Macron? All right. So guess what I'm doing? I'm theorizing a conspiracy right now. Do you think that that's horrible of me? Do you think that that's inappropriate of me? Do you think that I shouldn't be theorizing a conspiracy at a time like this with regards to a tragedy like this? If so, I don't care. I've been through this many times before with the Twin Towers, with Ground Zero. Hey, you know what? I've actually heard those terms being used to describe what's happening at Notre Dame right now. The mainstream media is already getting the gears turning that you're not allowed to question the official narrative because that's inappropriate. But is it? Is it inappropriate? There was a time when it was. There was a time when it was inappropriate to question the official narrative about a tragedy right after the tragedy had taken place. But I feel like that the cosmic ether has shifted. And now it's inappropriate not to theorize a conspiracy when something like this takes place. It's disrespectful to the people of France not to ask ourselves, moving forward, can we gauge the silhouette of a conspiracy by the reactions that you see? First and foremost, I want to see somebody in handcuffs over this. If we're told, oh, accidents do happen, don't worry about it. Don't worry about exactly how it happened and exactly who did it. That would be a pretty big red flag. If Macron suddenly comes out and says France needs to come together, and if he insinuates that continuing the Yellow Vest protests at a time like this is inappropriate, well, that would be very suspect. But, you know, I guess I should just shut up because I'm in the tinfoil hat brigade. So I'm on Twitter. Everybody is, you know, giving their opinions of it. Ben Shapiro is making jokes about it. But along comes Sebastian Gorka. I like Sebastian Gorka. But here he is letting us know that this is how you deal with the tinfoil hat brigade. So I went and I checked it out thinking, oh, he must be saying aliens did it or something. No, this is what he said.
Even media helicopters aren't flying over. And the fact that they instantly jump to the idea that it's an accident. Who renovates any building? How many buildings do you know that go up in flames?
Have you been, hey, Brent, have you been to Notre Dame?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen the inside wooden structure that's 1,000 years old?
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen that it's covered in paint? It's made of wood?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, number one, utterly, completely combustible. Secondly, when you're renovating something, you use solvents. You have all kinds of cleaning materials. That's process. That's phase one of a renovation, is to clean. The idea that it takes 3 hours for a 1,000-year-old wooden structure, which is covered in paint and which has renovating combustible materials in it. Number one, totally possible. But
all right, that's enough of that. I like Sebastian Gorka, but that was ridiculous. That was completely absurd. That man sounds like a supporter of Donald Trump and a fan of Sebastian Gorka's. And he's not making statements about, large demographics of people. He's talking about very specific people doing very specific things and theorizing. And what does Sebastian Gorka do? He says, you're not allowed to theorize what might have happened. And so, here, shut up and let me theorize what might have happened. Where is Sebastian Gorka's undeniable proof that they're in phase one using solvents? How much experience does Sebastian Gorka have with renovations? How many construction sites has Sebastian Gorka's fat ass been on in his life? I would probably guess none. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who has construction worker experience in his past. I don't really know anything about his past. I've never looked into him as anything more than Sean Hannity's sidekick with the really deep voice. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he has a blue collar past. So I'm theorizing things about Sebastian Gorka based on his pompous, arrogant attitude that he has towards this phone caller. And so I'm sure you're wondering, what does all this have to do with the clickbaity title of the video? Well, this is what it has to do. This is a real problem. I just wish that people who are supporters of Donald Trump, especially those in positions of power, would wake up to the reality of this TV channel. This TV channel is, I get it, that there is this evil man and that there are a lot of people there that are less than savory characters, but there's a good clique there. There's a good clique of people there who mean well, but they can be real dumbasses sometimes. These guys can just be really stupid sometimes. And it's because they think we're still living in the 1980s or something. They're just not moving forward with the country. They're living in the past. And I get that there's a lot of boomers out there that are doing that and that's who their audience is. But this is 2019. We're almost in the 2020s. At some point, they start to just become dead weight and they're in the way. Just as much as any liberal boomer is. Because the Tea Party was destroyed by this TV channel. And I just wish that the Trump team would wake up to how bad of a strategy it really is to rely so heavily on these dumbasses at Fox News. Because I think Sebastian Gorka's a good guy, and I like Sebastian Gorka. And I'm so sick of this infighting crap. But I theorize conspiracies, Sebastian Gorka, and I'm a proud conspiracy theorist. And if you want to insult me because of that, you're just creating infighting. That's all you're doing. So stop. Enough. Thank you for watching.
But they think it was caused by renovation. And I hope that's the reason. Renovation, what's that all about? But it's a terrible sight.